Check out the mug. Caffeine is killing your sleep, which in turn can kill your fat loss or muscle gain goals. It's a little clickbaity, I'll explain what I mean. 74% of Americans drink caffeine every day. I'm one of them. In order to understand how caffeine works, why it's important and why it might not be great sometimes, you have to understand adenosine. Adenosine is a neuromodulator that builds in circulating levels in our body throughout the day. Think of it as a form of sleep pressure, as Dr. Matthew Walker calls it. Over the time that we're awake, adenosine builds and builds and builds, and when our circadian rhythm recognizes it's nighttime, that adenosine or sleep pressure releases, where adenosine travels to the brain, binds to the adenosine receptor, and triggers a lot of the processes for sleep: drowsiness, melatonin production, etc., etc. Why that's important. Caffeine has a molecularly similar structure to adenosine. So what caffeine does is it travels to the adenosine receptor and binds to it and blocks adenosine from doing its thing on the receptor, which in turn prevents the feeling of drowsiness. And if you're getting poor sleep night after night, adenosine doesn't really get to clear out from good sleep. So it may still be circulating when you wake up, you feel drowsy, you reach for the caffeine, you drink the caffeine, you feel better. Here's where that's a problem. Caffeine on average has a half-life of 6 to 8 hours. So what that means is if you have 2 cups of coffee, an estimated 200 milligrams of caffeine, 6 to 8 hours later, you've got half of that effective dose circulating in your body. Add 6 more hours to that, you have half of that, 50 milligrams circulating in your body. So if you have that cup of coffee at 10 a.m., at 200 milligrams, at 10 p.m., you've still got 50 milligrams in your body. No bueno for sleep. So an easy, cost-free way I recommend everybody optimize their sleep: cut out your caffeine at least 8 hours before your bedtime. I personally am super sensitive to stimulants. I like to cut it out after 11 a.m. or so, give myself 12 hours. Everyone metabolizes caffeine at different rates due to an upregulation in an enzyme called CYP1A2. It's the main enzyme related to the breakdown and metabolization of drugs like caffeine. And mine apparently is just gimping along. But some people's works really quickly, so that's why you probably hear people say, I can have caffeine at 5 or 6 o'clock and sleep fine. Weird flex, but okay. However, they're probably still negatively impacting REM sleep and don't realize it. If you find yourself constantly reaching for that 3 or 4 o'clock cup of caffeine, try cutting it out earlier one day. Sleep better, you won't need it as much. However, if you want to be a bonehead and be stubborn and still have the late night caffeine or late afternoon caffeine, consider a supplement like Lunar from Legion. A lot of great sleep promoting compounds in this supplement. However, the star of the show as it pertains to caffeine is rutacarpine. Rutacarpine has shown some promise in animal model studies to bind to caffeine and speed up the metabolization rate, basically help us excrete it faster through our waste. I've been experimenting with that Lunar supplement on and off for a couple weeks. I love it. So if you're interested in a sleep supplement, grab rutacarpine or grab Legion from Lunar, and you can get 20% off using my code SMOKE at checkout. So stop relying on caffeine to get you through the days.